weirdest thing that well, I guess it's probably not the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me when recording an episode. I'm not entirely sure what technically the weirdest thing is. Well, yeah, scoot on down. Yeah, get cozy. Here we are. Everybody's here. The weirdest thing that has ever happened to me while recording a podcast was probably like 5 minutes into the conversation. This person did take out their cell phone and set it up and just started live streaming the podcast, but it was just on them. You know what I mean? It was a very kind of ego driven hip hop type individual that was very about me.
In my defense,
it was a terrible episode.
In my defense, my followers were all over that. Killing it that day on the gram.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of weird because I can't even imagine it sounded good. And also, it's one of those things where it's are you that impatient?
Yeah, it's this probably going to look a little better than the Instagram video, right?
There are some people that just need to be online and need to be seen all the time. It's a plague of modern society. I'm not really a fan of it. How do you all feel about social media and microphone stands working? You got that?
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know. It's weird. I go through phases where I'm like, why do I have a public account where I post about my spouse, my parents, my cats, and just anybody in the world could go look at that?
Well, I think that it's probably pretty fair. Now, by a sign of a show of hands here, if you could maintain banned social media without being obligated to have personal social media, would you still have personal social media? I probably wouldn't, to be completely honest with you.
I mean, I am not obligated to have personal social media right now because I pretty much run the band social. So I could do what you're talking about right now if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I don't. So,
but for example, on Facebook, you need to have a personal Facebook account to run a band page. But I guess you could have a burner Facebook account that's just I don't know, a picture of SpongeBob and the account is, Sponge. First name Bob. and that's what you do. But
all right, well, if you get a friend request from SpongeBob later tonight, we'll know your idea war.
Absolutely. Well, my favorite liars here in the building. Make some noise for the internet. I don't have the sound effects anymore, so you'll just have to pretend. Woo. It's good to see everybody. Haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a bit.
Yes.
I think the last time I saw you was your other place, a month before COVID hit.
Yeah, probably around that time frame.
Yeah. We were we got a lot of cool stuff to do this year and didn't do any of it. Which sucked, but it is what it is. We're here now.
Yeah. And certainly haven't seen Leo in a while.
Yep.
Yeah. We're not doing anything.
Ages.
It still hasn't been publicly announced that you're playing with normal creatures, but I feel like anybody should know. It doesn't really matter. I don't know why I haven't made what do we should probably just I don't know, take a picture together, high-fiving, be
what if I turn out to be a weirdo?
That's true. Then hey,
I already vetted him. He's okay.
Yeah. So anyways, I haven't seen you in a while, and I've only met you one time.
At the studio.
Matthew Varies.
Yes. When you were providing us a pedal.
Yes. So it's nice to sit down and talk with you.
Yes, nice to formally meet you.
Yes, it's a little less chaotic. Studio days can be a little wild, brain fried.
Oh yeah.
Working on the same part for hours and hours and hours.
It was a lot of work. I took off work and I was I feel like I'm doing more work here than I do at my actual job. I hope my coworkers aren't watching this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's the thing. A lot of people don't know or understand how much effort goes into just something as simple as recording a song. Because I guess it could be simple, but we want to do it right, so we overcomplicate it, which is why I always congratulate any band, regardless of how I may feel about that band. If you can find the time to get together an album, that is an accomplishment. So, an early congratulations is in order for your band, by the way, isn't it?
Thank you.
Yes, because as we've already said, I came in on a recording session because an album was being recorded.
Got the inside scoop.
It is my understanding now that I don't know if it's 100% finished.
It is.
Okay. Hey, congrats. You did it.
Woo! We got a clean version of one of the songs with bad words.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you looking for radio play?
Oh, yeah.
We only have bad words in one song.
Can
And
you
it's
tell
probably
me?
the
Kinda
best
shocking.
one.
Can we talk about what those bad words are? Can we
Are we allowed to swear on this podcast?
fuck around and find out?
we may have said fuck a few times. Just a few.
I think just like twice.
Just twice, actually. Only 2 times. It's
So
fine.
the album has 2 fucks.
Yes, only 2, and it's like 25 minutes long.
Is there any shits?
Are there?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Ass?
No ass. There's a couple dams. There's like a few goddams.
Wow.
The radio hates that one. That's
They do.
bad. Other than that, no. We're pretty family friendly, I guess.
So
And we got the clean version already.
But so is this song that has this clean version? Is this the song that is intentionally to be the air quote radio single? Or is it just to be safe, we're going to censor the song? Because it would be funny if you wrote a radio song and that was the one song that you decided to say fuck 2 times in.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. We never really thought about which one is the radio song or if any of them are. But
I think planning to be on the radio is a pretty bold assumption of any kind.
I mean, if you want to be on the radio, I'll get you on the radio. I don't actually have that power at all. We'll just pretend like I do.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we could talk about that. So, all right. So you have an album here that is done. It is coming out reasonably soon. I know you're doing an album release at Club Cafe. I don't have the date. I'm not that professional. You can fill in the blanks.
July 6th at Club Cafe featuring Heading North, Back Alley Sound, and last but not least, My Favorite Liar.
Yes. Why do I keep switching to us?
I don't know. I haven't said a
wanted
word
to
the whole
switch
time.
to you talking. I completely missed. Tell them about the show again.
July 6th at Club Cafe, Back Alley Sound, Heading North, and My Favorite Liar. 8 p.m., I think.
Yeah.
It's 21 and up, unfortunately. All our 20-year-old fans are just devastated by it.
Yeah, that is a bit of a bummer, but I guess what are you gonna do? It's a tough city to do all ages stuff in. It's a tough city. Well, I mean, it's not even just our city in general. I think it's kind of a plague of underground music in general, where it's kind of hard to do things that are all encompassing unless you have a ton of money. It would seem, because I'm sure Club Cafe probably would have let you book an all ages show for more money, possibly.
I don't know. We didn't have more money to spend, so I didn't even bother. It wasn't even worth the thought experiment there, but maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think we have that many fans in general, and most of them are probably our friends, and I'm not hanging out with a ton of 19-year-olds myself, so we're pretty much in the clear. It's my younger brother and probably the only person who's under 21 who listens to us, so we're going to try to get him in.
Gotcha.
Be
Nice.
the merch guy for the day,
Yeah.
as it goes.
That could help. Yeah, put them to work. Put the
Yeah,
underages. Put the underagers to work.
Yeah.
With this album and it coming out here in July, My Favorite Liar has been a band that has been doing the thing now for a bit. I know that I started just with the two of you, and then you've expanded and brought in some other
Folks,
Exactly.
individuals.
yeah, whatever, however you want to phrase it. You brought in other people.
And other people.
And just now that the band, okay, so actually my question is, was the album recorded with just you two, or was the album recorded with everybody?
Just us. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So now you're coming into this from like a, after the fact sort of situation here, but everything is fun and put together, and you're going to be putting out this album. What do you want the world to get when they hear this album? Is there like some big grand statement, or is it just like, I just want to put out a bunch of fun pop punk adjacent songs for people to get jiggy to?
I don't know. What do you think?
You wrote the song, so
Well,
what was your intention with this?
I don't know. I think I didn't really go into it with like any specific intention other than like just writing things that I liked. And I don't know. I think we've said like a lot throughout the process that like we want to make stuff that we like, and if other people like it, it's just like a bonus. But like at the end of the day, like we can't count on that. Like we're not making music for other people, it's at the end of the day for us, and we hope that people like it. But yeah. I guess that was kind of what I set out to do. Yeah.
And when you went into the studio to record these songs, do you feel like the final outcome of these songs was kind of what you were expecting, or did you find like the process to be like a little bit of a discovery for like what My Favorite Liar could become in the future? I think
both. Like it definitely like it is like how I imagined it in my head, but also I think it's better than even what I imagined like going into it. Cause like when we were in the studio, just like things changed and evolved and like happened in the moment that I think if we hadn't like taken the time to like be in that space and sort of like, okay, we're going to be like working on this, for 8 hours today, like that like might not have happened. So it was kind of like, yeah, some of those things, like there were like ideas that I came up with in the studio for like a lead part or something like that like I listen to it now and I'm like, that's like one of my favorite things. And I just sort of came up with that in the moment. So yeah, it was cool to like be able to work with Matt and sort of like bounce things off him. Like he's a great person to work with for that too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Matt is really good because it's nice to have somebody that almost acts like an extra member of the band.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, providing ideas, insight, not afraid to let you know if something sucks.
Yeah. That's like the most helpful thing. Like I would play something and be like, what if you, didn't
do that?
What if you did something else? And I'd be like, okay, like let's come up with something else. And like that like created some of like the coolest stuff, honestly. Like some of our favorite moments. There was like one part where we had this part and we were working on it. And I think he was like looking at the waveforms and he goes, this just like looks boring. And we were like, like you're right. So like, let's like tear this apart. And we did. And like, we like sat there and like made like a whole new bass line. And then like Leo like reset up his drums. And this is like, I don't know, 20 seconds in one song. Like, and we like, and it's like one of my favorite moments on the whole EP. So yeah, it was just like a cool experience. I learned a lot, just about writing and, yeah.
Was like the instance of me, lending the pedal, was that another one of those like we didn't plan on doing this moments?
Yeah, it actually was, yeah. So we had this like we had this part that Leo kind of created where we like had this part and then he was like, okay, what if we like repeated this and we like slowed it down and we like turned it into this like breakdown. And he sort of changed the feel, right? So it like goes from like being very straight to like more of a triplet thing. So I was like, all right, I'm like coming up with like, what are we going to do with the lead guitar? And there was this like part where I was like, it has to do something. And we like experimented. We were like trying like a whammy bar, like all this like different stuff to like make some kind of sound effect there that was going to work. And I think it was Matt's idea where he was like, there's a pedal.
Yeah, he was like, you need the drop pedal.
Yeah, he's like, you need a drop pedal. And that was like exactly the sound that like we wanted. And yeah, it turned out super cool, that whole part. So.
What part of the song? What part of which song?
It's
the End of Misery.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, and Matt owns that pedal, but it just so happened to be in repair. And we were like, damn it. And I was like, I know a lot of cool people with gear around here. I bet I can find somebody who has this pedal and we can record this tomorrow. And I hit up a bunch of people, and wouldn't you know it, good buddy Sykes had the pedal like 5 minutes away from where we were, actually.
Hey,
So-
it was serendipitous.
It was.
Yes. Now, in regards to, now that the album is done, band, I imagine you're playing. Are you playing any shows prior to the release show? Or are you kind of just?
Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah.
420, baby.
Oh, wow.
Saturday, 420.
The Devil's Day.
The Devil's Day. That's where we exist. It's going to be the greatest show on earth.
Oh yes. How could one forget about
poster.
such a monumentous event?
It will truly be the most monumentous event.
That one will be. Wait, move the camera. That one will be. Fucking. I can't do it. I already lost it. Lawrenceville Distilling Co. on 420, featuring My Favorite Liar, Moontown, Old Neon, and Mallory Run at 7 p.m.
$10.
$10 at the door.
thought
Who
it was
doesn't have
6
$10?
So
Maybe
Oh,
6.
6? Oh, I could be
I thought
wrong.
it was
I'm
6.
spreading misinfo.
Consult
They're
the,
at 6
consult
either
the
way.
flyer.
yes. Playing, such an event with such a unique lineup of bands, friends and things like that. I'm not here to stir the pot or anything, but I do want to ask the question, just in terms of like, how do you feel about being a band in the Pittsburgh music scene? How do you feel about your community of other bands and other people in bands that you have worked with and maybe don't work with anymore and things like that? What's your general feeling for being a part of this?
It's weird. I feel like somebody called Pittsburgh like the smallest big city in America or something. I think that holds true. It's kind of weird because like it's a pretty big city and there's like a pretty decent local music scene, but everybody kind of knows everybody. And so you get into these weird things where it's like, anytime I go to any show, I probably know like at least one person there. It's kind of like if you lived in a small town with your entire extended family and you ran into them at the grocery store all the time.
Sure.
So it gets a little weird sometimes in that regard. But I think especially now we definitely have like a crew of bands that are really cool that we play with sometimes. And like the people organizing this show, for example. I don't know. I don't know what my conclusion from that was. These are just some ideas I had.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool people we know, and also there's some weirdness that happens with it being so small and everyone knowing everybody, but that's okay. We're powering on.
Yeah, totally. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just trying to, I think that there's something that's like, undeniably selfish about what we're doing. Like I am creating a piece of art. I'm putting my feelings, pen to paper and putting this out there. And I want you and you and you to give me your undivided attention to listen to what I have to say, to hear my feelings. But I think that, it's a natural thing to like art, to hear other people's feelings and thoughts and emotions. It's another form of communication in what is the human experience without communication, right? But I think the struggle is just trying to avoid letting the ego overpower. I think you have to have a certain amount of ego to be like, I'm going to write this song and I'm going to record it and I'm going to expect people to listen to it. But I think it probably needs to stop somewhere around there. Once you get past that point, I think it's more about just like being cool and welcoming and wanting to make sure that if you're going to stand up on a pedestal or a stage and start a conversation or play a song, that, it's actually an open dialogue where the audience can somehow be a part of that conversation instead of just yelling at them a whole bunch,
Sure. We yell at them a whole bunch.
Mostly me. I'm yelling. I'm yelling at them. No, I feel that a lot. I feel like sometimes I almost feel like self-indulgent. I'm like, I'm getting up here and I'm making everyone listen to me whine about my fucking feelings for like 25 minutes. Like, and that's like one reading of it. But then like, I don't know. I think a lot about like all the bands that I like love and connect with. And like, you could argue that they're doing that too, you know, like, and like, yeah, like that's art, and like art, we need art. So yeah, I try to, you know, keep doing it anyway, even though sometimes I feel self-conscious about it in that way.
Yeah. You know, I find that like I have such a love for creating music, and I have a really bad habit of like, once I like finish an album, like I just want to keep on writing music, and then I kind of I forget about like, oh yeah, I put out an album, maybe I should actually tell people about it. I'm really bad at like telling people about art, or inviting people out to shows, because I never want to be that person. It's like, come out to my show. Well, it's like, well, if I drag my gear across town, I probably should have told some people. You know? So it's like a weird thing, but you know, less me, more my favorite liar. What's my favorite liar going to do about this album release? What's cooking? What are you thinking promotional wise? You know, these are the hot topics. These are the things that people want to know.
They want to know, what kind of vertical content are we shooting?
Yeah.
When are we going to be posting that vertical content?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many times are we going to post the same 20-second clip in various formats of the song?
Yo, so you know, there's somebody that is a past guest of the podcast. I haven't spoken to them since they were on the podcast, but I would call them a friend of the podcast still, you know, local musician. And I'm very annoyed by this local musician recently, because they're doing this thing where it's like day 1 of sharing my content until I find my audience. And now they're on like day 23 and they're filming all these like little like snippets. And like, I appreciate the hustle. I really do. But like,
God damn, I know.
Yeah, it's just like, shut up, you know, in some way. I mean, like, it's tough though, because like, how do you find your audience? I don't know if that's the way. I mean, like, maybe there's somebody out there that's going to be like, oh, this is day 53 of person sharing this song. I'm really interested to hear it.
Like days 1 through 52 did not do it for me. But
I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it's really hard for me to want to engage with art if it's being like solicited to me in a way that feels really disingenuous.
yes.
But I also understand the plight of just being like somebody that is just really wants to try whatever it takes to get their art out there. I'm sure if I sat down and talked to this person about their decisions, they'd just be like, well, why not? It's not hurting anything. And I'd be like, well, I guess you're right. Maybe I'm just being a curmudgeon. But
no, we talked about this a lot, actually.
So, you know, what do you do? You know, what's my favorite liar gonna do? Or are you just not gonna play that type of ball?
I think right now we kind of are just not doing that, because we're like, I don't know. I think we had a conversation maybe at some point after the EP was done, and we're like we want this to like be fun. We don't want it to feel like, you know, we have to work and grind on social media to get likes and follows and stuff like that. Like, that's not what we want it to be about. Like, we want it to be about like making music and making friends and connections and stuff like that. So yeah, I think, so far we haven't really done that sort of thing, and I don't think we really plan to, but it is kind of like a bind you get into, because it's like, how else do you try to engage if you don't do that?
I've really like been more in this mindset recently of like trying to think of like the online world and the real world as two different things. I mean, that's probably a healthy balance, but it's been pretty common for like those worlds to become one thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that like the way that I want to interact with the internet and people that may follow us on there is way different than anything that I want to do like in the real world. So I just kind of like want to play shows, meet people that way. And if they want to follow us online, great. But I think the idea of just like generating a bunch of content to like maybe impress some people on the internet that there's a good chance I may never even get the chance to play a show for. Anyways, it just seems kind of silly. But I don't know, maybe that's a little like self-defeatist. Who knows? Maybe I would play that show for them if I took the chance, if I reached out. You never know who's going to see my TikTok.
Well, I mean, the other side of it is, would those people come to see you?
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to like a video, and it's a lot harder to go buy a ticket and drive somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I think
there's a big discrepancy sometimes between like an online following and how many people actually want to come see your show. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily, but like, it's not like a one-to-one trajectory.
Yeah, I find it's like you run into a lot of artists that I think find some ways to create social media content that does feel somewhat genuine. Maybe they're just being themselves, being goofy, little in studio videos, a little bit of this, here's a little drum playthrough. That stuff's cool. But I've also seen some musicians that do stuff where it's like, it really has nothing to do with their music. They're just kind of hoping that people will like that video, and then as a result of that video being attached to their band, that maybe they'll find band followers. Like, you know, like here's what, like, oh, what if the Smiths were bluegrass? Okay. I mean, sure, maybe that's interesting for 30 seconds, but I don't think that's going to make anybody like click on your page to listen to your original music, or maybe it will. Ultimately the thing that rubs me the wrong way about it is I feel like it's just like an unfortunate like misuse of energy and time. You know, I don't know. It's like, if you want your band to be the thing that you're pushing, I feel like you should push your band. Like, if you want to be somebody that's on the internet and like recording cover songs or doing goofy videos or, you know, somewhat cringy vertical content, you could do that. But I think that it's kind of like counterproductive to try to attach it to something if it's not related to it. But I don't know. I've never seen any success online. So who am I to say what works and what doesn't?
Well, let me tell you how we got our 100 monthly listeners on Spotify.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of like, I think just ultimately like doing what makes you comfortable, I suppose, as a creator. So, you know, because like if you're not like comfortable or having a good time, then it's kind of defeats the purpose of doing any of this, because it is like a lot of work. It is very time consuming, and it's like it's not the easiest thing to be like, here's all of my feelings and I'm going to put them out there for everybody to listen to. So yeah, I don't know, if dancing to your own music on TikTok makes you feel comfortable, I guess that's fine.
If you were naturally somebody who likes to do that and then TikTok blew up, you know what I mean? Like, if your personality just happened to become the marketable thing, well, I think by chance.
I think that happened for a lot of people. You know, I don't think that every single person that creates like that type of content online is being disingenuous. Even if they are in a band, I think it really does work for some people. But I think like being in a band nowadays, it seems like it's almost like what you're supposed to do. And that's like what like kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why we feel like we're supposed to do any of this stuff. Like, even like filming a music video seems silly in a lot of ways. Because you think about like the concept of a music video is to like, this was just a way to like sell your record to like TV stations and maybe get people to like
MTV
come out
probably,
and stuff like
right?
that. Yeah,
and then
stuff
YouTube.
like that. But like now it's just like another like ego exercise in a lot of ways now. Like, hey, I'm gonna spend this money and film this whole video, and I'm gonna put this online for my friends to watch it that already know that I'm in a band in some ways. But also that's like the negative way to look at it. The positive way to look at it is like, hey, me and my friends had fun for a day. We filmed a silly little video. We had some good times, and this is like a cool visual companion to our song. But like, you shouldn't feel obligated to make a music video. You know, I've felt that way where it's like, oh, I have to make a music video now. We have to do the guitar playthrough. We have to do the band promo that looks like this. We have to have the logo. I've been in that boat where it's like, we do all this stuff because I feel like we have to do it. And it's like, I don't know. did we have to do all of this stuff?
Yeah,
Or are we just like playing like a capitalist musician type game, giving into like all of the promotional obligations that really have nothing to do with the art itself? It's a weird thing to ask. Do I need to have this podcast?
I don't know.
Stop recording.
This has been the last episode.
Yeah.
I said that last time. This will be the last
Yeah.
episode.
So
One of these times.
with that being said, you working on any music videos?
Yeah. We did actually one. This wasn't even the plan for it, but it kind of worked out. We were going to try to make slime merch. You know, like slime. It's like a thing with like a sensory
Oh yeah,
thing. where
I'm
people
aware of slime.
You and slime. You're all about the slime.
Uh-huh. Slime the Beat podcast.
Start
Slime
the beat with
Slime the
slimes.
Beat ASMR. Yeah.
Brian Slime's how.
Oh, that's good.
There it is.
That's fucking good. Let's go.
What was I going to say? Slime. We were trying to make slime merch because we're like, we are neurodivergent people who play music. Maybe other neurodivergent people who will listen to our music will also want to buy slime because that's something that they do.
Sure.
It all made sense. And then we tried it and it did not happen. This was just
We
horrible.
looked up slime tutorials
Uh-huh.
and it didn't work.
Did not work at all. But for whatever reason, I was like, what if I like documented us making the slime? And that was the only thing we got out of it, is I stitched together like a 20-second video. And it was like how we announced the explicit thing, the explicit song where like Choke comes out in 2 weeks. And it was just a 20-second like montage of us trying to like make the slime. And then the very last scene is throwing away the slime. And then that's how it ends. So I was like, that was
that
kind of,
counts as a music video.
yeah. So we did do that, a 20-second music video.
That sounds like vertical content.
It was vertical. It was
It
definitely vertical. Some of the
100%.
no sign of horizontally angled phones.
It's just like interesting, like even like that whole idea of like everything being vertical now, which is like so silly to me. And I don't know. It's just interesting how like trends happen and everybody just starts doing it. Like why does every band have t-shirts? Why do we have t-shirts? Because it's the only way to make money as a band is to sell merch, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's just like we have to have a t-shirt. I'm in a punk rock band. I'm in a heavy metal band. We gotta have a shirt. My fucking band has 12 t-shirt designs. 12. Not Creatures, Grey Walker. Creatures only has 2 t-shirts. Actually, no, we have 5 right now. What the fuck am I talking about? Not 2. We have 5 shirts.
And a hot
Oh,
sauce.
Grey Walker does have a hot sauce.
It's good hot sauce.
Whoa.
I'll vouch for the hot
You have
sauce.
a band hot sauce?
We do, actually. And you know what's funny is it hasn't been available for a couple years. But tomorrow, we're going to... It'll be...
Whoa.
It's
Really?
coming back. Yeah, we just got a whole new batch.
The
of it.
peach one?
Yeah.
Hit me up.
We got a whole new batch of it coming.
That was good.
Yeah. It's going to be the final batch. This batch was a little bit complicated to get made.
Mm.
Long story short, the person that was making our hot sauce, and some people do know this person, but I'll keep their name out of my, because they were doing hot sauce independently, and then they started working for a bigger company.
That's how they get you.
So now that person does work for a bigger company, which limits their ability to be able to do,
Band heavy metal hot sauce.
Sure. Or, anything that's not like kind of attached to that. But with all of that being said, we were able to get some more hot sauce. So,
All right.
So there
That's
is,
good.
but this is probably going to be the final batch. It's the last run. So,
So it's going to be
but yeah,
twice
why
as
the fuck do we have
expensive.
a hot sauce? There's really no good reason for it other than our guitar player went to high school with that person that made the hot sauce. So sometimes like goofy things just happen.
Yeah.
I've been in like this really hyper self-analyzing what am I doing with my life mode recently. So I'm sorry for bringing that energy into the to the table today.
I think we have two.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We're all there.
Yeah.
I think it was the eclipse.
Yeah, maybe.
Everything went to shit.
Yeah. It's been interesting just trying to remember why I do everything that I do and what keeps it fun. I've been thinking a lot like over the past probably year now at this point that like the happiest I ever was as a creator was like when I was 17, 18, 19. I had only played a handful of shows. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how, the proverbial sausage was made. And now that I know like how a lot of this stuff goes and how you need to be and what it takes to make things work on like it's just like exhausting. And like a lot of it kind of goes against my like who I am as a person in a lot of ways, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, no, I feel that for sure. I feel like I'm fighting against my like just natural personality by trying to be the front person in a band. And it's weird when I start to think about it too much.
Yeah.
You know? Like I hate people looking at me. I hate like being in front of people and being the center of attention. And yet I willingly choose all the time to get up on stage and like sing in front of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember when I first started playing in bands and things like that, and like even doing like my like solo rap stuff back in the day.
Big fan.
Shout out to Giorgio's.
Oh yeah.
There was like people that like I went to high school with that were just like, really, you're doing that? Because like I was always very, very quiet and not like the type of person. I think everybody knew that I liked music, I always had like a Slipknot t-shirt or something silly on, right? So people knew, but like especially when I started doing like metal and stuff, it's like, oh, you're singing in a metal band? It's like, well, what do you mean you're singing in a metal band? You don't think I got it? You don't think I got what it takes? And then I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But but it is weird though, again, just like having that bravado. Cause sometimes like you'll see other performers that like have it that are like very
yeah.
And it's
like you watch someone, you're like, okay, this person was born to like entertain a crowd, like be on stage. And I'm like, I was not born with that. Like I did not get that one.
But the thing that's funny is like now, like over time, kind of going back to that, like how the sausage is made thing. I've like seen so many of those rock star type people that like, I'm just like over it. Like most of the time when I see people like that, I'm like, calm down, calm down. I'm like, I feel like I relate so much more to people that I could tell are, I don't know, they're not like trying to be a rock. Some people don't try to be a rock star. They just are.
Yeah.
But there's definitely people that try. And it's just like, stop, stop.
And I feel like you can usually tell. I don't know. I mean, maybe the people that are tricking you are really good because they have me fooled. But I feel like sometimes I can usually tell if somebody's acting a certain way on stage and they're not at all that way in real life. And to a certain extent, you are acting, like you're performing. Like in my day-to-day job, I'm usually not hitting drums in front of people. So like, you know what I mean? Like you are sort of acting, but yeah, I feel like you can tell when it's not genuine. And I feel like a lot of bands strive for that one specific archetype of the rock star singer, like you called it. But yeah, no, I feel you. I kind of get what you're saying about when you can tell people are maybe a little nervous, or you don't want them to be nervous, but like,
yeah, it's so interesting. Like now, like even, as I've gotten older and I've experienced, decade upon decade, almost upon another decade of my life. We're getting there. I've been like going to shows since I was a kid. I've been playing in local bands since I was a teenager, like well over double my life at this point. And it's just funny, like how much hasn't changed. It's like a mosh pit starts and it's like, there's like people that are half my age that are somehow instinctively still doing the same exact little thing, like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do in the mosh pit. And like the guitar players that are still doing like the same moves, or the rock star singer that's still doing like the same. It's like, this is like, everybody's like still like acting the same. It's like, it all feels and looks the same. It's like this weird, like maybe unintentional, not necessarily copycatting, but like assimilating like the stuff that they saw, that they grew up with, which is fine. That's natural. But I feel like there was a point in time where there was like, that wasn't always the case. And I wonder how long it's going to take for me to have the hindsight to see that like things have changed again. Because like sometimes when things are changing, like you never know that you're in a movement. It's like a decade later, you're like, oh, there was really some groundbreaking stuff happening and I just didn't see it. But I feel like now for the majority of my time being active in music and being a fan of music, it feels like it's just been so much of like a rinse, wash, and repeat. And it's interesting to see like when is something going to change, or am I just missing it? I don't know. It's like classic rock radio has been the same since I was a teenager, right? Like they were playing Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, and now they're still playing Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. Meanwhile, those like Black Sabbath songs, you know, the Korn songs are just as old as the Black Sabbath songs now. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like that stuff's like, you know, that first Korn record's like 30 years old now.
Right. So it's just when you were first.
Yeah. So
sure.
it's like, when is Korn going to be classic rock? When do we evolve? I'm fucking rambling.
No,
sorry.
I know.
But it's just like, when do you think it's just interesting to see, like, I feel like we're just in this cycle of like, this is what we're supposed to do. If we like this type of music, we need to dress this way. We need to act this way on stage. If we're a fan of this music, this is how we act at the shows. This is what every single band logo in this genre is going to look the same. It's always going to be on a black t-shirt. It's like, how do we break the mold? I'm putting this in my favorite liar's hands.
How are we going to
break the mold of these stereotypes? But also, I guess stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, but that wasn't always the case. Am I just overanalyzing here?
No, I don't know. I don't know how much we're going to change the trends or whatever, but I think kind of just going back to what you were saying about doing what feels comfortable to you is like usually a pretty safe plan, right? Like
totally.
If you don't want to make the shirt or you don't want to post the vertical content all the time or whatever.
Yeah. It's just like trying to find like a way to like do things that just doesn't feel like so copy and paste. I really appreciated the like the handmade art that My Favorite Liar did.
Oh, cool.
Because that was just like, this is like really like us, you know, you're putting something out there, and by no means the first band to ever do handmade art
right,
for a
sure.
release. But it's just like, let's take the extra step and make something that's our own, instead of just like, you know, going onto Photoshop and using like the same font that like 10,000 other bands have used before, and like a same random generic photo of like a building,
right,
or like a shoe or something. I don't know what these pop punk bands are doing these days. Buildings and shoes. Right?
Yeah, that's
pretty much all the album covers are.
Buildings shaped like shoes. Shoes shaped like buildings. Them's the choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like our original plan for the art was to do something like that, you know, do something digital. And I think, I don't know why, but like, it just wasn't like sparking the kind of like, we just weren't excited about it.
Yeah.
And so, we wanted to like make something that just like, that looked like we made it, that like looks not perfect, you know, that looks like real. And that's, I guess, kind of like what we wanted with the music also. Like we wanted it to feel real and authentic, and like, you know, we did this and it's not perfect, you know, and but it's real and it's, you know, honest. And yeah,
you can actually go look at the cover art and come over to one of our houses and see the
do you still have it? Where is it?
I think I have both of them.
We gotta like, I don't know, we gotta like,
the art is currently MIA, but it's somewhere.
I've already put it on eBay.
I got $30.
Yeah.
Starting to pay off all them drum lessons.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, with all of that nonsense being said, what are you looking forward to in 2024 as a band after the album's released? Because obviously releasing the album's like it's a big hubbub, but hey, who cares about that? What are you going to do after that?
I feel like honestly, pretty much as soon as we like finished recording, like before the album was even fully mixed, I'm like already thinking about how I want to write more. Cause I like came out of like this studio experience where I felt like I like learned so much and like I felt like it was like a really positive experience, and I was like inspired, and I was like, I want to go make more stuff. So like, that's kind of like my biggest goal, I think, for this next year. Cause I feel like even though like these songs are new to like the world, like to us, like these songs are like 2 years old. We've been like playing them every week.
We're kind of sick of some of them, honestly.
Yeah. Like, I'm ready to like, I'm like, I want to write a better song. I want to, keep going. And I have different things to say now. And, I want to like keep pushing it and, pushing myself as like an artist.
Do you think that like this experience, like recording these songs has changed the way that you might approach other songs in the future?
I think, just because like I just learned things about songwriting in the process of like, I really feel like with this EP, we like tore it apart, every single song, every note, every word, every melody, like everything was like so like thought through and intentional. And just like, I've never like broken down music that much and sort of like pushed myself that much with it. So I feel like, that experience, it just like gave me a lot of insight into just like how do I want to write in the future, and, gave me ideas and stuff.
Sure.
So it was definitely like a experience that I feel like is going to shape the future of the band.
Yeah. And I know that the release was done with you two, but now we have other individuals that are in the mix now. Yeah. And how do you feel about now that you've brought in some other people, like moving forward and continuing to write music? What do you want from these people about like, what are you expecting to contribute? What are you expecting to hear, see, feel?
I mean, honestly, like for me, like I just love playing, like having other like good musicians, in the room working on the songs. Like it helps like push me, like, you might have an idea that like I would never have like on my own. And then like I hear like you play something and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, we should do it like that. And like, I wouldn't have come up with that on my own. I feel like it's so valuable to have, more people contributing creative ideas. And like a lot of that with you too, like if I had written these songs completely by myself, they would sound a lot different. I feel like the sound that like we ended up with is like, this like mix of both of our like backgrounds and styles. And it's like something that's like greater. Like it's like this new cool thing that it only exists because like me and Leo made a EP together. And I think that's cool. So we're excited to, keep going and, having Zach here to help shape the next thing, whatever it is.
To be fair, B writes some really incredible and fun bass parts. I don't know if I could top them, but it'd be fun to have a say, maybe have a little of my own flair in there if you'll have it,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I always love like the more like working with people. I don't know. Some songwriters, I feel like they want to have all the say, and I've never like felt like that. Like I'm always like, I want more input, more ideas. I feel like you can get really cool stuff out of that.
Yeah, that's a really hard thing to do sometimes. It's a very mature perspective to be able to have something and like, oh, this is my art, and to be like comfortable enough to be like, hey, I'm okay with letting other people, kind of put their brushes on this canvas and, add some extra color, shapes and things. It may not be the painting I was expecting to see, but it could be better.
Yeah.
I find that doing like art alone, music alone is like, it's satisfying in some ways, but it's not like fully satisfying for me. I think it taps too much into like the ego and I don't like that. I don't like knowing that like I'm fully in control. I'm also not that confident in myself as a songwriter to be like, I did this 100% myself. Now listen to it. It almost feels better knowing that I could be like, oh, hey, like the people that I work with are actually all like kind of better than me at things. So I could kind of be like, hey, here's a rough idea. And I feel confident in this idea, but also I need some melody. Please help with that, or whatever it may be.
Or you can
depending
spread
on
the
song.
blame if they don't like it. Be like, well, these fucking idiots ruined my song.
Hey, that's not really happened. I mean, I think it's just like, there's definitely songs sometimes that just don't work, even if you let other people try to work on them. Some things are just not meant to happen.
Yeah.
What would you say the My Favorite Liar track record is for songs that see the light of day to to songs that were kind of like, well, maybe not that one?
I think honestly, most of the editing process in terms of the stuff I cut happens before I even show it to anyone. Like by the time the song gets to you, and you're usually the first person, and now you will also be part of this as well. But by the time the song gets to the band, it's fleshed out enough and it's finished, usually finished. And I feel like there's something, there's something there. But in the process of writing the EP, like there were plenty of times where like I had an idea that I was following and I got to a certain point and I was like, I'm just not, I'm going to like abandon this. I'm going to leave this. Cause it's just not sparking the, you can feel it. I feel like,
yeah,
for me, at least it's like, I can feel when like, okay, this is working. And then I can feel when I'm just like, no, I'm going to move on and, go to the next thing.
Did you ever watch the Marie Kondo stuff on Netflix?
Yeah,
Sparking Joy.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of that sort of like, that's like, so for, you're not familiar with Marie Kondo?
No.
So Marie Kondo is, I guess, like an interior designer / lifestyle coach. I'm not exactly sure how you would define this person, but they had a show on Netflix where it's basically they would go into people's homes and like help them like organize their things, like clean up and just create like a healthy environment for them. And Marie's big thing was like whenever you're cleaning out a place, like you got to get rid of a lot of things. And she would always say like, if this doesn't spark joy in you, then you should get rid of it.
Oh, I have seen this actually. Okay, I know what you're talking. Okay.
So I guess in a lot of ways, like that is kind of like songwriting can be like that. Like you just have this like closet full of unorganized riffs and melodies and song ideas. And sometimes you just kind of got to go in there and like, none of this is sparking joy. I need to throw these things out, which it can be hard sometimes to do that to art,
Yeah. I feel like sometimes like when it's like working, like it comes so easy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it'll just be like, this is just like, it's just all connecting. And then sometimes it just feels like almost painful trying to like figure out, like trying to force it almost.
Uh-huh.
And usually that's the point where I'm like, okay, I need to either step away from this or this is just not it. If I feel like I'm trying to force it, that's usually the sign.
Yeah. I find that with, the Normal Creature stuff in particular, so much of the stuff that we were working on when we were writing that stuff, like a lot of it came together so fast. Like, I mean, like, this won't mean much to you two, but for Leo will know, like, I don't even know if I've told you this, but like we wrote the thing in like 5 hours, like that entire song.
Yeah.
And like that song is crazy. There's a lot of different parts and a ton of stuff going on. And like, it's a lot, but it's a really cool piece.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it just like came like so quick. And like, it was one of those things where it's like, wow, I wish I could do that every week.
Yeah.
But you can't. But most of the songs that are like in that batch of material, like we didn't really like, we just get together and be like, hey, I got this idea. Cool. And then like, we would have songs like really, really quick, except for one. There's one song on there, track 8, that is still like, at this point, I feel like the only reason I'm even putting it on the album is so I could say there's 10 songs on the album. To be completely honest with you.
On a 9-track album.
I don't even feel like it's finished. And it's like, why am I doing this? I've been like fighting to make this song work, and it's just like, I don't know. It's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's going to be there. But I'm sure everybody will be able to hear that it's not it.
So sometimes it just like takes time. Like, I don't know, like, the aforementioned song where we said fuck twice, that song,
which is out now on all platforms. It's called Choke. It's sick.
Thank you. That song was like I originally started writing that song probably like 3 years before, we like the eventual version that we started playing. And it was just one of those ones that wasn't working. And like, it was like a tough thing for me to write about. And I went through like 3 different versions of the lyrics trying to figure out like how I wanted to say it, and like all these different ideas with like it was not like working. And so I set it aside for like a long time. And then when we started working on stuff for the EP, I kind of went back to it and started working on it again. And it just like clicked. It just clicked, and it came together so quick. And it's definitely my favorite song that I've ever written.
Wow.
It's my favorite song I played on. So
yeah.
Written, if you want to, my writing contributions of hitting drums along to
and I
material.
almost feel like those 3 years, like I wasn't working on it in those 3 years, but like things were happening, stuff was happening, even if it wasn't directly related, that was like helping me, so that when I got to that point where I went back to it, it just clicked. It just worked.
It's almost like the idea was ahead of its time in some way.
Yeah. It was almost like I needed more time to sort of process my own feelings and get it to the point where like
sure
it was in this sort of like, it was ready to be the song it is.
I wonder, do you feel like there was maybe like, you mentioned that it was something that was like hard for you to write about. So I imagine some sort of a personal experience. So do you think that maybe you were still like too connected to that personal experience to like remove yourself enough to like approach it from like an artistic standpoint and not like purely emotional?
Yeah. A lot of like the first draft of those lyrics, it was too angry. Gotcha. And I was like, I don't want it to be this angry. Like, this isn't the story I want to tell. Like, this isn't what I'm trying to say with this song. And then like, a few years later, I come back to it and I'm sort of looking at it from this, like, I've recovered from this. And I'm able to like talk about it in this way where like I'm talking about like the way that I felt when I was going through it, but I have this insight that I didn't have at the time that is able to make it sort of.
The insight almost makes for like a better story.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. In 2015, I put out an album with Sykes and the New Violence. And it was the record was put together, fairly quickly. A lot of songs that definitely I didn't have time to have that sort of insight. A lot of angry songs. I'm an angry person sometimes. Well, I'm doing better, but this was like almost 10 years ago. And
I've Seen Better?
Yes.
That's the one that's the artwork on Matt Berry's wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Yes. It was a very, well, I wasn't living a healthy life back then, but I've told this story before in the podcast, so I apologize for anybody that's hearing me say this again. But I did the thing that you're supposed to do after you release an album, and I sent it to people to like review it, and I was trying to get it out there, and I got a review from the Pittsburgh City paper. And they said it was painfully self-deprecating.
Oh no.
So I printed that on stickers and put it on the front of every single copy of the record.
That's awesome. That's
so
exactly what I would have done too.
Painfully self-deprecating.
But also, I joke about it, but that was actually like a surprisingly like eye-opening experience for me as a songwriter, because like I thought it was funny and I kind of had this like punk rock go fuck yourself attitude, but they weren't wrong. Mm-hmm. Going back to earlier, me talking about the music that we make and being being like a storyteller and conversations with the audience and all that sort of stuff. Like, if I think about those songs now, it's like, what was I actually trying to say to people? And why would I expect people to actually want to hear a lot of this stuff? At least the type of people that I want to engage with. Because I'm not like a self-deprecating type of person. I mean, but it's like that's not the I don't want to put that energy. I shouldn't want to put that energy out there because I know what it sucks to deal with that. So it's like I need to find like a healthier way to get my feelings out there instead of being so angry, right? And I think that I to this day when I'm writing stuff, I still think about that. It's burned in my head, and it's like, would I get that review again from these lyrics? I seriously think about it for like every fucking song that I write. I think it's like really important.
You submit it again and they're like, it's still painfully self-deprecating.
It was so fucking funny. They weren't wrong though. They weren't wrong.
I feel like there's like, anger can be like useful and it can in the right context, like that's powerful, and it can really fit like with the music. I don't think it's inherently bad to write angry music.
Oh, all I do is write angry music. So trust. I mean,
yeah, I love plenty of angry music as well.
I think that it's anger in a way is like hot sauce.
Oh yeah.
It's you just gotta the right amount in the right application can really set something off and be like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's some hot sauces. It's like, there's no reason for this to be that hot.
You ever listen
for a song to be that angry?
You ever listen to the story so far?
Yeah.
They're pretty angry.
Yeah.
They are definitely
and
angry.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they like fully commit.
Oh yeah,
like,
they're there.
Although I guess some of their more recent stuff is less angry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that there are ways to do it. I think it's just like, I know just like me now with the hindsight of like looking back at who I was as a person then, I mean, it makes sense. It's a weird time capsule of where my life was and stuff like that. And, now I've gotten over a lot of things, which is good. And I think that it's like, I'm able to not only approach like songwriting from a healthier and more like productive perspective, but I feel like life in general, which is good. And sometimes I wonder if like my life and the changes in my life made me a better songwriter, or if like legitimately, if like me trying to write better music made me a better person. Because I feel like I wouldn't have ever realized like how shitty or how fucked up my life was if I didn't have all of these like receipts from these stupid songs that I wrote. Because I feel like for me, like that was like what made me realize, like, because like anybody that I was surrounded with at the time, like those people, nobody was like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. It was all part of the problem. I like straight up like moved. I like cut ties with a lot of people in my life, moved out of the neighborhood I was living in, moved into a new house, like developed new relationships with different people, like all after that, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Being an artist is cool sometimes.
Yeah. It's cool. It can be hard. It can be, I don't know. It's hard, but it is cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I mean, like I honestly, like I really like kind of like give it up to a lot of my like, cause they're still bandmates. Like Justin and Mandy knew me at that time, and it's still crazy that they even like want to hang out with me, to be honest with you. But everybody's had their own shit that they've gone through too. So, it's cool though,
I also, like you've said, like with Choke, it's like been therapeutic to release it and be able to like perform it and kind of like express it in a way that you want to, instead of kind of like just dealing with bad experiences.
Yeah, I think for me, like going back to like what I said before about my personality, like I'm pretty shy. I'm not very assertive. And so I think a lot of these songs were like my way of giving myself a voice for situations where I felt like I didn't have one. And I feel like, this is like my story now. Like I'm going to tell this and, say it like this is my experience and my story. And, especially with that one, it was like kind of a way of feeling like, it gave me a voice that I felt like I didn't have. And yeah, that's like, I think one of the like most powerful things about music, at least for me, just like the ability for it to do that.
Yeah. I think that's like the value of like art in general. Right. And it's like one of those things that, part of the reason why I'm personally not like super concerned with like AI in art, I find that it's like, I think this is going to be like a very temporary thing. Like AI, it's going to exist perpetually, but at the level of like people like, oh, AI is going to take over everything. I don't think that's going to happen because like there is no like genuine connection or soul. And I think as long as like people need to have that genuine connection, it's not going to thrive.
Yeah.
But also it does sometimes feel like the world doesn't need soul anymore to be complacent. So that's another scary conversation, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how deep into the AI rabbit hole we want to get, but I feel like I don't even know how to frame this.
Well,
how
you
to phrase this
started it.
exactly. Now let's just talk about something. Never mind. Delete. Edit that out in post, guys. I feel like a lot of times talking about the annoying marketing and stuff, I feel like to some extent the state of music as a whole, a lot of times it feels like it's very like surfacey, like it's trying to like grab your attention so that you like it or whatever, but it like kind of seems like you're just kind of trying to mass produce art. And I feel like AI is kind of the next evolution of that. Like we're kind of like in some ways headed towards an AI like thing, and now we actually have AI that can do it. I don't know if that makes any sense.
The thing that's like that's weird is like, you know, it's like already the funny. Okay, rewind. So the funny thing about AI artwork is that like it already all looks the same. Like any of us can see something and be like, this is completely creatively and different from any other piece of AI art that I've seen. And it already looks dated to me in a funny way when I see stuff. It's just like, it looks like, this just doesn't look like current or fresh. It's like, I've seen just like, I think that like the art that you did for the My Favorite Liar stuff is like more timeless and fresh than like any AI thing. It just has like a human connection to it. And maybe like a lot of people don't look for that human connection to things, but
ours was actually made with AI.
But yeah, like another thing with like the whole vertical content thing is just like, it's like, I think also the way that it's set up where it's like everybody's using like the same like AI voice
Yes.
thing and like the same text and like this, they're all using the same filters and it all looks and sounds the same.
And that
it's
thing you
just
said
like,
about like day 37 of trying, there's like very specific like things that you do. Like sometimes you'll be talking over the song and be like, hey, this is my new song I wrote about building shaped shoes. And it goes like this. And then they get the real, like, there's like a couple, there's like 5 or 10 maybe different like types of videos like that.
Did I just write the song of the summer?
Oh yeah. Holy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's like the way that the video is shot, like the video itself is all the same, and then the text is all the same, and then the format's all the same. Yeah, just like what you're saying.
it's very it's so strange to me. There's somebody else that I know that is a I guess you can call them a content creator now. I know them as a musician, but they have done the thing where they've been living in Los Angeles for some time now. Cool, sick, chase your dreams, appreciate it. But you know, it's like I went out here as a musician and now it's like I'm making music and I am doing like amateur boxing and I'm doing ASMR and I'm doing like all this stuff, which is like, cool. Hey, I have 1,000 interests too. I get it. But like the way that you see this person and the way that they are promoting themselves online, you know, it's like they're continuously promoting themselves as if everybody is seeing them for the first time. But it's just like me and all these other people that have been following you for years. It's like, I know what you're doing. And it's like consistently, instead of like trying to like build the fan base that you have and like just like create cool art for those people and then having other people come in naturally based off of the art. It's like they're perpetually just trying to introduce themselves to new people without ever actually introducing any like art of substance is how I feel. It's always like, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm an artist and I do this. And it's just like, okay, like I know that. Everybody else knows that. And I understand you're trying to get
new.
You want to bring new people in, but also it's like, isn't it like more productive to just bring new people in by being like, here's a really good song?
I'm not even a fan of this band particularly, but I listened to an interview with the singer from the 1975, Matty Healy, and he was talking about, he called it like being good to his fans and kind of like the idea of just like making music that he wants to make and not doing what you're saying. And he used this analogy that I thought was funny, where it's like you're at a party and you're talking to somebody, but you're looking over their shoulder at the next guy. Like we're having a conversation, but you're not looking at the person you're talking to, you're looking at other people in the room. And that's kind of sometimes what you're saying.
That's exactly what it feels like. Yeah.
Like it's like you're not talking to the people you have, you're kind of like ignoring the fans that you already have to try to go talk to somebody else who maybe will be a fan. And yeah, just like you're saying, like, hey, I'm blah blah blah.
It's like this whole obsession with like building numbers, getting more streams and all of this stuff, which I mean, I guess that makes sense, but also like it feels very temporary because I don't see like what anybody's doing to like, if people decide they want to be a part of your world, it's like, what are you doing to like make them feel welcome in the house instead of being like getting people to the party and then they realize that the party's kind of weird and then you're just leave.
You're just trying to,
you know, it just feels like they just want to like stuff as many people into this thing as possible, but it doesn't feel very good to me. I don't think that's what I want to do with my art. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of like, we had this conversation somewhat recently where we were talking about like, okay, after the EP, we got to like submit it to these these things. And we got to play a whole bunch more shows to get more name recognition. And we were talking about all these plans and then we were both just like, I'm miserable. Are you miserable? Yeah, I'm miserable too. Like, why are we doing this? Like when we first started playing in this band, we were just like the two of us, like before we had anybody else, we were just like playing at like my practice room every week and like having a great time. And now we've somehow found a way to make this thing that was supposed to be fun, like fucking miserable for ourselves. So like, why do we have to do that? There's no rules. Nobody's telling us we got to go do all that stuff that makes us miserable.
Like this is supposed to be fun, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like when it stops being fun, I feel like you got to step back and be like, okay, hold on. Like, you know, like what can we do here? Like to get back to that. Cause I feel like, if you lose that, then that's hard.
Yeah. I'm a very firm believer that like, especially for like bands, you know, loud guitar type bands, like the best thing that you can do is really just like take advantage of as many good opportunities as you can to get on a stage. Be nice to people. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. I guess write good songs too, or just write the best songs that you can. And even if they aren't good, if you can perform them in an entertaining way, your band will probably be fine.
Sure.
That's fair.
I've seen plenty of bands that really aren't that great, but they're a blast to watch live. So I'm like, hey, whatever, I'll buy a shirt. Let's go. You know, like it's fine.
That's kind of our sales pitch when we invite people to ours.
Because also like you know, who's to say what is like good or bad art? I guess, you know, there's definitely, you know, I can go both ways on that argument. Like, there's no such thing as bad art, but then I can think of some things, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's definitely some bad art out there. But yeah, so you know, I think that it gets a little bit trickier for the people that are like maybe like solo artists that also could like be like a personality on the internet. Like most of the people that I know that I feel have like the most obnoxious online presence are all like solo artist type people that I know. I don't see it too much with bands.
Well, or it's like a band, but you can tell that it's not really a band. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's clearly one person and the band is kind of just there to hang out. And we call them like, we joke about like people like, it's sort of a separate conversation. But we call them like warm bodies. Like your whole job is just to like be a warm body on like
an NPC.
Yeah. That kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like we were talking about like, this is kind of a whole separate conversation, but there's like we've heard of bands where like they'll have like the bass player isn't actually playing, it's all on the track, and the bass player is just like miming along, but you're not actually hearing they're playing.
Yeah.
So it's like that guy's just a warm body on stage. Like their whole job is just to like be on stage and look like they're playing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like I know that there's also a lot of bands that like I mean countless bands honestly that like just like rotate members and you would never know, just because like the front person of that band is like such a presence,
Right. Yeah.
you know, and it's just like, you know, like I don't know, I mean I don't know why this might not even be a case for the band like The Used. I don't know The Used that well. I feel like if I saw 10 pictures of that band and there was 10 different lineups, I wouldn't fucking know. All I would know is like, oh yeah, I know what that Burt guy looks like. I don't know what anybody else in that band looks like. I would never fucking know. And I feel like that's the way like a lot of people are.
Yeah, sure.
But then there's some other bands like I don't know, like Under Oath maybe, where it's like they have like a lot of people in that band that are very distinctively known for the things that they do. So
Or even like Green Day or something.
Green Day. Oh yeah, for
like,
sure.
It doesn't have to be a lot of people.
If one of the Green Day members was gone, I would.
Yeah,
know.
you would know. Yeah, sure.
Like with Blink 182.
Hmm.
When
Yeah, you would know
when
about-
Tom was gone, everybody knew.
Yeah.
Now he's back. If you didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I keep up with all the Blink 182 news. I'm in the Blink 182 fan club.
r/Blink 182.
Yeah, r/Blink 182.
I assume that exists.
It does exist, yes.
I-
I've been there.
Yeah, that's something we like. I mean, at least like definitely with the two of us, it was like very. Even though like I like to like, even though I'm mostly playing drums, I like to think that I'm like contributing equally, where like it wouldn't be the same if I wasn't in it. I like to tell
I
myself
tell you
in
that all the time.
but and now obviously like we're trying to add more people, but like like I like bands sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I like when it's like clearly like a group who
Yeah,
all are doing their thing.
I'm really curious, and I guess like this is going to be more of like a hindsight thing, where maybe 5-10 years down the road, we can like take a look at some of the successful artists of the past decade that have been like, you know, real hot shit, and see how many of them got their start doing like a, hey, this is me, and please listen to my, you know, day 53 of trying to share my art, you know, because like I feel like at least at this point now, like most of the artists, even like mid-tier, like average people that can like do like a decent tour circuit and make it work, not like big radio superstar type people. I don't even know how many of them have done that stuff, or it's just like, oh, they just wrote really good music and played a lot of shows and it just picked up.
Well, the whole like advertising, like the day 50 whatever, is pretty new, right? Like that's only
why
been
I was saying we're
Right,
right,
yeah,
hindsight, you know, on that.
My anecdotal experience is in the year or more that I've been seeing that kind of stuff, I can't think of a single band that I've been introduced to them that way, and then I've gone on to be a fan. And on the flip side, I've had bands that I actually like their Spotify, but then I unfollow them because their online presence is so obnoxious that it like repels me from listening to them, which is just one guy's experience. Maybe that's not true for everyone, but
Yeah, I think that, yeah, it's just like most of the time, like, you know, I think that, you know, you're going to come across, I mean, if I'm just scrolling through Instagram randomly for some reason, I'm probably not like even in the mind space to try to consume new art in the moment. Like that's not what I'm looking for. You know, I don't even know what I'm looking for most of the time. Maybe it's just like, oh, like maybe I'll see like a cool show that's coming up, or maybe I'll see like a cool like painting that someone did or something like that. Like I engage with the internet in the way it may be different than some other people. I'm not like if I want to hear new music most of the time, it's just like I used to try to go on my like Spotify release radar.
but even Spotify has their own fucking
That got fucked up because like a combination of like of my Spotify being in my car and my girlfriend always taking over the Spotify when we're on drives. Mm-hmm. So a combination of that, and we have like kind of different music tastes. And then also a combination of like whenever like, if we can't get to sleep and we put on like the sleep sounds from Spotify or something like that. So like my like most played songs of 2024 were all like
Ambient.
like it was all like ambient drones and like Winona Judd like in the Chicks and like all this country stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and then like one metal song. Like, all right, whatever.
Or like or at least for me, it's like set list usually, like bands I'm playing. And I like listen to the set list a whole bunch.
I was gonna say, is our EP gonna be on your Spotify?
It definitely will, but actually because I really like it and I'm excited about it, which I think is cool.
Yeah. So again, that is July.
So the release show is July 6th at Club Cafe featuring Back Alley
Can we
Sound,
say when the
heading north.
EP comes out?
Yeah, I think we did already.
I forget the date.
June 14th
June 14th.
is the actual EP.
You heard it here first.
Then we're giving people a healthy 2.5 weeks to digest the material and see if they'd like to partake in the live experience.
Yeah.
And then we'll do that. And then, I don't know.
Then you'll keep playing some more shows and
Writing some more stuff.
Cooking, as we call it. Cooking up
Cooking.
bangers.
Oh, hell yeah. I like that.
Always got to be cooking. Cooking something.
It's your ABCs. Always be cooking.
Always be cooking. That's what they say.
Well, everyone, I appreciate you all coming over today to talk about art and creativity, your music, your experiences, your lives. It's been a hoot. It's been a little low key. It's a little bit sleepy. We're in a post eclipse energy here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm chilling. You chilling? You good, Leo?
All good.
Good. Cool. Great. I'm great too. So that was our podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. I'm excited to hear the whole thing. I've already heard a good chunk of it because you've sent a lot of it to me.
We'll
Probably heard the whole
We'll
thing.
send you our Google Drive link. We're offering our Google Drive link free to anyone who wants it.
Hey, you got to get the music out there.
Yep. Our Google Drive plays are going to be off the charts this year. I don't know what the royalty rates are like for that these days.
Yeah. Who knows? Ask Google. Well, with all of that being said, that is all, folks. Thanks so much for being here one more time. My favorite liar. Thank you. Insert digital AI applause here. Everything switches to vertical.
Day
AI
400
voice
of
comes on.
interviewing my favorite
Yeah.
liar until they become famous.
Yeah. I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Brian Sykes Howe. Start the Beat is the podcast. 2024 is the year. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. Peace out. And we did it. That was a podcast.
Nice.
Woo!
Yay.
Hell yeah.
Woo.